Welcome back to All Things Rangers. There is a lot for us to talk about this week. Sorry that we're a little bit late. We usually like to film on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but yeah, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm Mark Williams, and I am joined by the one and only John Falkowski.
Going on, hockey world, Rangers fans?
Well, it's been a bit of a week. First, the Rangers played the Philadelphia Flyers in what was a shooting gallery, or at least what it felt like for Igor Shesterkin. Chris Kreider had a hat trick from about a total of 5 feet away from the goal line, and the Rangers lost 4-3. Then they come out against the Boston Bruins. Gee, if that's what they do against the Flyers, what are they going to do against the Bruins? Only beat them 6-2 in a
Yeah.
very lopsided, convincing way. So, what do the Rangers do after that with all that momentum? They look
Well,
lifeless on Sunday, absolutely lifeless. And then against the Buffalo Sabres, they're kind of lifeless outside of the first 3 minutes and then still win the game. So, John, where do you want to start?
I think we could take this chronologically. Philadelphia game was really underwhelming for the most part. Chris Kreider got to his one of his usual hot streaks again. So we'll see how long that lasts. But that was really about the only positive that I really took from that game. A lot of players, even Adam Fox, really had kind of a meh game for him for his standards, which I was kind of surprised because usually he's like the one consistent factor in every game that's played. Is that he's just good. He's at least good, I should say, in every game, even if the results are bad overall. Goaltending did not help. The first and the fourth goals let up were kind of bad. I thought those should have been stopped. And then you go from there. The Bruins game, the first Bruins game was amazing. Probably the best effort they've put together all season. Boston, obviously, in the middle of a funk there, gets whipped for the second straight game in a row. 13 goals in 2 games, and you're like, oh, well, people starting to say things about the Bruins like, oh, paper tigers and all this other stuff and pretenders, and are they really a cup threat, so on. And then they just come back and dominate the Rangers the next game, and we're right back to looking at Boston as one of the beasts of the East again. And then Buffalo, a team that spiraling out of control. Their best player and probably one of the, I would say, 5 best players in franchise history if you put him behind LaFontaine, Hasek, guys like that.
Mogilny.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably one of the 5 best players in team history. He's looking at being traded, and yet the Rangers come out first, I would say 5 minutes. I'll even give them the first period. It was actually a decent period overall, even though the first 5 minutes are really where they got everything going. And then all of a sudden, the next 2 periods are absolutely lifeless. They're dead. How long did it even take them to get a shot on net in the third? That was just terrible. It was an awful, awful effort. If you're a fan or if you're somebody that's just watching these games objectively, just as a hockey fan in general, how do you not have a red flag raised at these random lifeless efforts? Like, to me, it looks like Quinn's lost the room. Like, they show up to games just flat, dead. Like, I mean, seriously, the Walking Dead comparisons are starting to become more and more abundant because they're just out there like, what are you doing? What are they doing out there? So, I don't know. Something's got to change. But, I mean, a win's a win. I guess they've won 4 of their last 6. So while that's good, I mean, if you're watching the games, the numbers really are kind of deceptive, if you will.
The only numbers that are really jumping out in a positive way is the shots against. They're still keeping most teams under 30 shots. That was one of their bugaboos last year. And it was, like last year, them and the Chicago Blackhawks, they just hammered shots left and right. It's always good whenever you get guys that are playing better that weren't playing that great. Chris Kreider comes to mind. Obviously, he's been under fire, and right now he's on one of his hot streaks. So hot, in fact, that he scored Monday night, and he was shocked. Like he turned around. I think he looked at Pavel Buchnevich and said it went in.
Yeah,
So it
that
was a
that
little bit.
quickly become a meme and a gif all over Rangers, the Rangers internet community.
For the most part, Mika Zibanejad's looked a lot better. Not exactly last year yet, but I mean, you get moments like the opening shift. I know what you're thinking. I know you're shaking your head, but
I
well, a lot better than garbage is still better than garbage. Um,
We're setting the bar pretty low here, Mark.
like the pass he made to Buchnevich, I'll take that as a positive.
Yeah,
That set up the first goal. Um, and he is the one that forced the turnover that got Lafreniere's goal.
Yeah.
It's I'll still for Alexei Lafreniere. I'm going to say this again in a minute, but just because it hit off his shin doesn't mean he earned it. He was hitting lots of posts last week, so. But I gotta say, I mean, I'm watching the first period. The first period, there was life. Second period, eh. Third period, it's like Buffalo can't come back on this. You were talking at one point, that when you were making your summarization of the week, and I thought to myself, is he gonna say Ralph Kruger or is he gonna say David Quinn? And then you said David Quinn, and I didn't argue with you. It's where we're at right now. And you wonder because we was Friday night. The rest of the week, you just beat the best team in the division or the team that's tied for first place. But now obviously the Rangers caught them when they're reeling. They were able to regroup, and I mean
the efforts just aren't there on a night-to-night basis. And that you know what, you can say that the players have to come out and they have to perform and they have to show up and play. While that's correct, coaching's got to be on top of them. Something's not right. I don't know what exactly it is, and I've been saying this for a while. Something is clearly not right for them to have that type of effort and then just absolutely stink up the joint the rest of the week. There's no consistency.
one of the things that I joked around with you about was, oh, hey, let's just tank, get another lottery spot, and get a first round pick. What does that make us? That makes us the Edmonton Oilers,
Or the Buffalo.
or the Buffalo Sabres. That was actually going to be my next line. It's just you got to show me something, and it thought the turning point of the season was going to be the D'Angelo fight, and because then they looked better, and then suddenly. Maybe they need Tony D'Angelo back in that room. I don't know. Something's. Although, again, me personally, I would move on from him anyway. Let's just get that clear. But what are they going to do? There's still half a season left to go, a little bit more than half a season, and I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, it's a frustratingly inconsistent team. And I like I said, I think that's a sign of coaching. I think that's a sign of a clear lack of leadership overall, up and down, between the players, the locker room, the coach. I think the front office has really got to step in, and they've got to make a decision on Quinn, because it's just unacceptable. And listen, I understand Panarin's not there. I understand Kakko's out. They just got Hedel back. Trouba's been out. But even with those guys in the lineup, they were still playing like this. So where is the common denominator? That's what I want to know.
I think to extend your thought for a little bit, when I'm talking about Colin Blackwell on a power play and your second pairing on last Wednesday night was Anthony Bitetto and Leroy Hayek. I mean, yes, injuries are a factor. Injuries are a factor for every single team. And you could say, well, if the Rangers were all healthy, well, this isn't exactly a year where everybody's going to be healthy, or guys are going to be on the COVID protocol list. Like, Kakko's on the list for protocol. I don't even know if he's got COVID. Does he?
He's skating again.
Okay.
He's skating. Him and Trouba skated in red no contact jerseys. So I don't know if it was just a precaution with him. I don't know if he has it. I hope to God he didn't have it because he's at higher risk than everybody. He's got diabetes and celiac.
Yeah, I had that mentioned to somebody else this week where he said, "Well, are they just being ultra cautious?" And he said, "Yeah, this case you have to be. He's got diabetes. He's got a pre-existing condition. That's one thing you got to worry about." And I mean, now by the way, side note, just to make it seem like I'm digging on Colin Blackwell, part of me says, it's Colin Blackwell who wears a great number because champions wear 43.
How did I know that was coming?
So, but on the other hand, I keep looking at him and going, Colin Blackwell's been the brightest spot for the Rangers for the last week, easy, and maybe even more. And I mean, I like him as a fourth line winger. I like him maybe next year as a third line winger because he's one.
No.
I'm just saying, I'm spitballing.
Hey,
After all,
I'm going to just cut you off right there for a second. I got to stop you there. He's been playing great. I'll give him that. There's no denying it. But one, he's playing over his head. Two, if you have a guy like him coming in and you want him to be your third line winger, that means that there is a major problem with bottom six depth on this team.
Oh, there's a major problem.
Gotta be addressed. Colin Blackwell has been a career minor leaguer for quite some time, and now all of a sudden he's getting, I don't know what, 13 to 15, maybe even 16 minutes a game now, and now he's producing. Like, good for him, but is he really going to get these numbers with fourth line ice time when they start putting him back in that position? No.
No, and to be honest with you, the real guy that should be getting this ice time is Julien Gauthier because he's been playing very well, usually with Brett Howden.
Mr. Cardio.
Oh, God.
You ever see his stat lines?
You said it to me one time, and we're going to put it up right here because it's just that bad.
Zeros. It's like the guy doesn't even exist. He's going out there and just skating laps and not doing anything. He's not really hitting anybody. He's not really doing anything of significance. His defensive numbers analytically really aren't good. And offense, he's a black hole. So why guy in the lineup? And once like Kako and all them and Panarin get back in the lineup, he should be the one that sits, not Kevin Rooney. And I never thought I would say that before this season.
Okay. And they got to down the middle, they need to improve. We know this. We've been beating this drum the entire time. I had people try to tell me, well, you got Ryan Strome as the second line center. And I'll still say the question, the response I've said the entire time. If Ryan Strome is the answer, what the hell is the question? It's not who's your second line center. Because I'll take... I'll go back. I'll take an aging Steve Ruchin right now over Ryan Strome. I like Steve Ruchin too. But I mean, there was a lot of, and the Rangers had a lot of, hanky second line centers or guys that you just like. That's our second line center. I mean, we had Matt Cullen for 1 year. Matt Cullen was a pretty decent second line center for the Rangers. That 1 year.
I think that was their third line, though. When Avery came over at the deadline, that was their third line. It was him, Callahan, and Callahan and Avery on one line. It was the ACC line, they called it. And those guys were really good together. And they were actually really good in the Buffalo series. They gave Buffalo quite a handful to deal with, that line.
Which is funny because that's going to come up later in Mark's Weekly Trivia.
Well, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. Subscribe, share it with everybody you know. Help us out a little bit here. We're not bad guys. Let us know what you thought below.